Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, why does Jedi have to turn around and smile at me like that when I begin these live streams? I don't know, because then it throws me off. Also, an answer to the question, what fell off my desk, or almost fell off my desk a few minutes ago. Well, it's really, the answer to that is, to address the people out there who have complained that I don't talk about technology anymore. Well, first of all, they're incorrect. See, Jedi, some people don't know how to research. They don't know anything, and of course, nothing really ever stops them from sharing their lack of insight to the rest of the internet. But I wanted to show this little gadget that I've just picked up. It is a Darth Vader with an AC adapter that has, on its other end, a micro USB cable that you can use to charge your devices. So Darth Vader can charge your devices right now. It's not a battery pack necessarily. Like if I unplug it, then see Darth Vader stops glowing. You plug it in. So instead of using a classic adapter for charging your USB devices, you will be so much more cool if you pull this out. Or you know, let's take it a step further. Let's say you're in a coffee shop and you need to charge your phone and you're sipping your demi-tasse of espresso or whatever you drink, and you charge your phone. So you pull out an adapter. You know, you're like, oh, I gotta scout through, gotta find an adapter, and you pull out an adapter that everybody has, right? And let's say the smoking hot person of your dreams goes walking by, man or woman, doesn't matter. They go walking by. And, you know, they see this, not a big deal, right? It's an adapter. But they see this, and they start freaking out. They're like, oh my God, where did you get that? That is so awesome. What is that? What is that? It's a conversation starter. So you just lost the person of your dreams because you didn't have an awesome AC adapter. I'm just saying. You had the power, and you let it slip through your fingers. Or let me put it to you another way. If the person of your dreams walks by that and doesn't ask, they ain't the person of your dreams. Let them keep walking. Let them walk on. Baby Jedi, let them walk on. Apparently Twitter was on fire this morning talking about my Game of Thrones Take the Black Stout video review. That was great. I think 2 people have seen it to this point. I think I'm the only person on YouTube who likes talking about beer. I was geeking out. So I uploaded the same video to my Facebook page. It already has like so many more views, so much more engagement. I'm telling you, Facebook's where the video's going. I hate to say that. Live video, not so much. But I think Facebook's going to be a big deal for video. I can tell you, I've seen a lot better traction there than I have on YouTube lately. The vlogs are a completely different story. Vlogs have had fantastic engagement, which is why I started to do show and tell types of videos in vlog style, like that the Game of Thrones Take the Black Stout. I'm not going to talk about it because I've already talked about it. Watch the video if you're interested. I also posted the blind bag fun that we did as a CPU episode in the classic channel. Links are in this video description. If you're looking for a boring yet on sale battery pack, a portable battery pack, 18,000 milliamp hours, 73% off. Save some money right there. Also, the SkillFeed 45-day subscription for free. And a couple of other things on sale at deals.lockergnome.com if you are interested at all, and I believe you should be. So, now speaking of the person of your dreams, I got to talk about this. The Walking Dead is a thing. I have not yet seen The Walking Dead. I'm not into zombie stuff. This may be the next thing that I get into. I haven't done it yet. Just haven't. I might. It may happen eventually. I'm just not into zombies. It's not my thing. It's not my fandom. Right? So, I know a lot of people like it. I know a lot of geeks love The Walking Dead. Nerds, not so much, it turns out. So, apparently, there was a man who kissed another man in a recent episode. And Twitter exploded with people just outraged. Oh! This gay kiss! And I'm thinking, let me get this straight. No pun intended. People are more concerned and upset and frightened of a gay kiss than they are a zombie apocalypse. What is wrong with this world? So, you know what? These same people who were freaking out over this gay kiss Wait until they find out that even more gay emoji are going to be pushed into their phone. They're going to have a gay family living in their phone. This was news that was released over the past couple days. Apple's updated the betas of both OS X and iOS to push out even more diverse emoji, including some people are upset over the yellow emoji. I thought it'd be kind of neat, but I guess it's Asians, by being called yellow skin, it is offensive. It's like them, from my understanding, obviously I'm not Asian. I'm looking for the pale guy emoji. You know, I've got to go with, you know, peach. Where's pale guy? Do I really need to take my shirt off again to show you how pale I am? I'll do it. Been wearing this 7 days in a row. It's about ready to walk on its own.
Is it 7?
Yeah, it's been a week.
Oh, wow.
What? You want me to wear it a month?
Yeah.
Is that what you just said?
Yes.
My wife.
I encourage you to behave.
Yes, you kind of do. So get out of my way. So anyway, some Asians were upset because these certain faces were very, very yellow. Just imagine these people who are homophobic. Still, I can't believe these people still exist. Wait until they find out that the emoji is going to be living on their phone. They can't get rid of it. They're going to have a gay family living in their phone. And don't think you're going to get away with it because you use Android, because Unicode and the emoji is not just an Apple thing. So, I don't know what to tell you. Considering 96%, this was a statistic released today, 96% of smartphone owners are either iOS or Android. So iPhone or Android. That's the way it is right now. Everything else, just it's not even a slice of the pie. It's not even a lick of the pie. Not even a bite of the pie. You hear me, Jedi? Well, I guess so. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to continue with other news that's kind of been going on in the geekosphere. I picked this up the other day. I don't know if I showed it in TLDR, but the new Guardians of the Galaxy comic. I will be talking about this in a separate video, kind of the show and tell. I enjoyed it. It's definitely not for someone like me, an adult, but I will enjoy it, as I will also be watching on Disney XD the new Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon, because I did enjoy the movie. Diana still has not yet seen it. We don't have a copy of the movie, and so she hasn't seen it yet. But I enjoyed it. To me, it's one of the better comic book adaptations to movie ever done, to the point where I would say it really set the standard as far as comic book movies are concerned. And I've really appreciated a lot of what Marvel Studios has been doing. Tonight, series finale of Agent Carter. Cannot wait to see that. Very much looking forward to it. As well as in another week's time, we're going to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spin up again. Also next week, just FYI, put it in your calendar, the season finale, not series finale, season finale of Rebels is going to be happening, and Darth Vader is going to be in it. Cannot wait. Now, some people were tagging me on the announcement. That was great. But if you were curious, as far as Darth Vader's design in the Star Wars Rebels episode, if it looks familiar at all to you, I don't know if that's even going to show up at all. Vader's helmet's too dark. The design, this helmet here is like the design of the Darth Vader cartoon. The reason why I'm holding this particular... Well, that was fun to collect. Oh, you got it. Great. This is based on Ralph McQuarrie's concept for Darth Vader's helmet. And they designed the Rebels Vader to be much like the McQuarrie Vader, just like so much other McQuarrie art inspiration within Star Wars Rebels. For example, Vizago's droid is, if it looks familiar at all, it's based on the sketches that McQuarrie had for IG-88. Kind of neat. Another little bit of trivia, in A New Hope, the lights that were hanging down in the cantina, if they look familiar, they're like IG-88's head from Empire Strikes Back. They're lamps in the cantina. Go ahead, rewind. You'll check it out. It's a fantastic bit of geek trivia for you. So, anyway, a lot of McQuarrie's inspiration throughout Rebels, which is another reason why I've enjoyed it. What I was going to show you here is an app that I use to stay up to date on all of my favorite TV seasons. Oh, by the way, do not bother me all weekend. Game of Thrones. I'm sorry, not Game of Thrones. It's in May. Can't wait for that. That is actually happening. Spins up in 47 days from now. I'll show you how I know this. But in 3 days' time, this Friday, House of Cards Season 3 is officially being released. So this is the app I use to tell me when all my favorite TV shows are going to be airing. Although some of them I don't have entered yet because they haven't started to air. But anyway, so it's a great way of telling you the countdowns, and then it'll send you push notifications to let you know that they're coming on tonight or in 15 minutes. It's called TV. That's TEVEE. TV. It's free, no ads. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite apps because I'm able to know when my next favorite episodes are airing. Fantastic stuff. Okay, next in my laundry list of awesomeness to talk to you about. Well, I assume that you've been watching the new show and tell videos. I've been having a lot of fun with those. There's going to be a new one released every day, so that's 2 new videos every day in my classic YouTube channel. You might learn something new. You might have fun. If you like me at all, I think you're going to like those videos because it's a variety show. My life is a variety show. Why not live it like that? Like, specifically on YouTube. I'm having fun. Oh, at YouTube and now Facebook, apparently. It's crazy how all that works. Today, on a somber note, would have been Steve Jobs' 60th birthday. He would have been 60 years old today. And I do wonder, as much as I think the world is worse off without him, I don't know if I'd say Apple would be doing as well as it's doing now if Steve Jobs were still at its helm. I think Tim has done a pretty good job. I would say that I think iOS would be in a better state, no doubt about it. So I believe that Steve had, the eye for design and detail. The devil's in the details. But, I think it's something to remember. I think indefinitely, because even if you don't like Apple or anything Apple's done or will do, it's not about Apple. It's about a person who changed the world. Quite honestly, flat out. And if you don't believe that he inspired the products that you're using today, you're not using any product that's been made in the past 5 years. Apple's, specifically under Jobs' direction, really changed the world. So happy birthday, Steve. The world still remembers you, and your touch will, be here ad infinitum. I believe that. The next bit of news, pendulum swings the other way, going to Microsoft. Dropbox. If you use Dropbox, you can get 100 gigs of OneDrive. Well, you call it OneDrive if it ever goes down. You can get 100 gigs free of OneDrive storage if you have a Dropbox account. I tried to get this to work and it didn't work. I don't know why. I'm disappointed. So you can try it, get 100 gigs for free, and that's nice. Dropbox really hasn't upped the ante lately, which is kind of depressing. Google has not either. I mean, the pricing is rather competitive. Apple is probably one of the pricier cloud storage providers in terms of average consumers, but Microsoft's really doing its best. They even released some new APIs for developers out there who might be interested in latching on to what OneDrive might be able to offer their app. What was I going to say? If I didn't finish this, I may have forgotten about this thought earlier, but this is really designed for this comic for kids, but fun nonetheless. And if it's canon, then consider me someone who will enjoy it. I read it to Jedi last night, and she seemed to enjoy me talking about it as well. So something that you may have missed this morning because it's now no longer available. A not safe for work version is no longer available. The safe for work version is available. You gotta catch my feeds early in the day. That's why I find a lot of good stuff. I never saw an episode, or at least a full episode, of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I know of them. I get it, but it's not my fandom. I'm waiting for something to be produced that I can latch onto, but to this point, it's not my fandom. But there was a fan film that was released starring James Vanderbeek and Katie Sackhoff. So, of course, I was interested. They said, Katie Sackhoff, I'm in. I loved her as Starbuck in the Battlestar Galactica series, the newer one. There was a fan film released, a not safe for work fan film of Power Rangers. And it was staged at a point in time after these kids had grown up. Very, very gritty. Now, I don't know what had necessarily changed between what you can see now and what was originally posted, but there was extreme violence and some amount of nudity, but it was very well done. I'm like, wow, this would have been a very compelling movie, full-on movie, but very well done for an indie, for a fan film. I thought very well done. Some people don't like it at all because it's like, it doesn't speak to the true heart of what the Power Rangers were. But I tell you what, from my perspective, someone who wasn't a fan, I'd watch that stuff. That was pretty interesting, and I don't like gore at all. But it was a little too far at times. But I'm like, that is pretty realistic, very realistic. It was almost Tarantino-esque, almost to the point where it was overly done, the violence and the blood and the gore. But it was done well. It really was for the fan film. So you should watch it. Even the safe for work version, they posted it to YouTube. The director, posted it to YouTube. It was on Vimeo, got taken down because of the not safe for workness, and then put back up the safe for work version. But I think it was worth watching, even if it was, well, depending on what they changed. Because there was one scene that had nudity that I'd imagine was probably clipped. Everything else was very, very violent, but worth watching as a fan film if you like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Not a reboot, not official at all by any stretch. If you are staring down the barrel of a teenager at home, and I realize most people who might watch me on a regular basis might be teenagers, there are parents who have set forth social media rules for teens, and I think they're fantastic. And I actually felt good reading this particular article because what was laid out was specifically how I would approach social media when Jedi gets older and becomes a teenager. And so it's nice to know that I'm thinking ahead in much the same way that other people are suggesting I would think ahead as a parent, knowing that teenagers are going to be using social media. Many teenagers abuse the power that they have, and don't treat other people like they're other people. That's one of the first lessons that you need to learn if you're ever going to interact with anybody online. What you have to remember is that I'm a human being as much as you're a human being. And if you don't treat me like a human being, you do not deserve any amount of respect, and you don't deserve the privilege of being online, period. End of story. That's my perspective. Etsy. This is a site that I use on a regular basis. In fact, recently with the acquisition of the 3D printed Darth Vaders. I guess I'd consider you an internet friend. We haven't met in real life, Earl Green. You are a patron. You are one of the supernomies. He sends me news stories every day, and he wrote about the plight of people on Etsy. How Etsy has basically lost its soul. And I turn to Etsy for unique creations and vintage stuff that you may not be able to find anywhere else. I've learned over time that if you want to get something that's collectible, don't get it through Amazon. Get it through eBay, where you can see ratings. If you want something vintage, it may be best to go through Etsy. Or if you want original products, Etsy. And so if I'm looking for like fan type of stuff, I'll turn to Etsy before I turn to anything. And Etsy's got that brand, but apparently they've become a bit watered down over time. And speaking of watered down, I'm going to drink my carbonated water here. My generically bottled carbonated water. I love carbonation. Love it. Love carbonation. I couldn't even get into sparkling water until I really stopped drinking soda like I used to drink soda. Now it's a treat every so often. But I got used to it. I enjoy carbonated water, sparkling water, fizzy water, club soda. Not to be confused with tonic at all. So if you're a Etsy user, if you're curious to know about how the culture of Etsy's changed, apparently it has. That's kind of disappointing. So I thought it'd be a good story to share with everybody, if only because I do recommend using Etsy. I've used it at various points in the past. I've sold stuff on Etsy. And I'd be curious to know if anybody else out there is selling stuff on Etsy. If so, what? Because I might be interested in taking a look. You'd be surprised. Some people who just watch me, blah, 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 they never tell me what they do. Never. And then I find out how they do what they do, and then I start following them. I'm like fascinated. Oh, speaking of, there is... The website's called stuckinplastic.com. It is a trio, or based on a trio of toy photographers on Instagram. I follow all of them. And Stuck in Plastic, if I can spell it correctly, yeah, I'll just Google it. So apparently they've got, I don't know if it's going to be a traveling exhibit, but one of the artists lives here, the photographer, toy photographer, lives in Seattle. There's a local, an art gallery that's going to be showcasing their work. So I'm going to be going there in another week or two. And I'm going to be recording video. I don't know if I'm going to be doing interviews, how all that's going to work, but what I might do is do an interview and then just clip the best parts and do B-roll of some of the footage, assuming that they're going to have some of the sets that they have set up. I don't do toy photography very well, or nothing like these toy photographers. But if you're looking for awesome toy photographers to follow, these would be the people. Stuckinplastic.com should have more information on where to follow all of them on Instagram, at least. Some of the people that I follow. But it turns out that they knew who I was, which is cool. I'm like, why don't you ever reach out to me and tell me what you're doing? Why? Sometimes people do, and it's okay. I'm glad you're doing what you do, but I may not be interested in what you're doing. I'd still like to know. Let me know. I would enjoy that. It's a great way of connecting with like minds, potentially. If you're producing mostly tech stuff, I'm probably not going to follow that at all. If you're producing toy stuff, it's a possibility. It's funny how that works. Star Wars stuff, absolutely. It just depends. What you might be interested in may not be what I'm interested in today, and, Social's weird. But anyway, Etsy. Handcrafted. If you're doing cool stuff online, I really do want to know about it. That's why I really wanted to talk about that article. There's another story talking about the truth about movie time travel, not just the paradoxes, but really a nice piece from the BBC, also by way of patron Earl Green. Time travel movies or shows, they don't bother me, but they're always thinkers. And I don't know if they're my favorite types of, media in terms of a plot piece. Time travel can be tricky. I mean, if only because of paradoxes. But time travel's not really... It's interesting to me, but it's not my thing. That time travel is not my fandom. I enjoy it. I enjoy a piece about time travel. I say that the deepest series that ever pulled me into time travel, so to speak, was likely Star Trek: The Next Generation. So I enjoyed the stories, but not my thing. Not my thing. Not my fandom. I have a lot of not my fandoms. More not my fandoms than fandoms, but that's how fandoms work. But anyway, the truth about movie time travel has been laid out. If you are interested in time travel at all, it may be something you would want to read. Netflix is picking up a couple of things. One, Richie Rich. It's returning to Netflix. And I say returning. I grew up with the Richie Rich comics and cartoon. I remember that. I enjoyed the Saturday morning Richie Rich cartoon. It'll be different, or at least somewhat different, in the Netflix approach. But if you like Richie Rich, or you remember Richie Rich, it's coming to Netflix. I'm guessing it's going to be more for kids. That's okay. I'll try it. I'll see if I enjoy it. Kid shows, I'm not as in. It's weird. Some kid shows, I want the kid shows that I had when I was growing up. That's how it works. But even now, I tuned into, someone had posted something. They shared a link to an Ewoks cartoon episode. And I remember watching the cartoon and liking it, but I didn't realize until now that the Ewoks theme song for the cartoon was creepy. We are the Ewoks, and we're living on the forest moon, or something like that. I'm like, wow, that was really creepy. They could have come up with something a bit more upbeat. We are the Ewoks. Someone phoned it in. That's what that sounds like. Also in Netflix news, this is something that I am looking forward to. Pee-wee Herman is returning to the silver screen for his upcoming flick, Pee-wee's Big Holiday, set to premiere on Netflix. Yes, a Netflix Pee-wee movie. I'm telling you, Netflix it's quickly becoming a juggernaut. Quickly. The next series I'm waiting for is House of Cards. And then Daredevil is also going to be running on Netflix. I cannot wait for that to start. The next series I'm likely picking up, to watch, the plan is on Amazon, the new series Man in the High Castle. I think that's the title of it, based on a Philip K. Dick novel. Man in the High Castle. That's what I want to say. A reimagining of what life would be like. We want to talk about paradoxes in time travel. What life would be like if the Nazis had won and the U.S. or the Allies had lost. The Axis and Allies, if the Axis had won. So, I mean, all the from Russia to Japan to Germany, and I guess to a certain degree, other countries. But anyway, Man in the High Castle. God, give me a second. I don't want to misquote this. I just found out about it. That it was happening. Man in the High Castle. Yeah. So apparently the most watched pilot on Amazon ever, which is why I was drawn into it. I'm like, well, if people are watching this, there's a reason. For a fantasy alternate universe. But it may be worth it for you to watch that pilot if you're looking for a little bit of entertainment. So I've come around to about as far as I want to go today. There are a couple more things that I could cover, but I am going to push those off until tomorrow because I've spent a fair amount of time with you. I got to roll into the Patreon Hangout now. And then later tonight in the Pirillo Vlogs channel, I believe, we got 4 channels now. Pirillo Vlogs, dedicated to daily vlogs and the live streams with other vloggers. We got the Geek Lifestyles channel, this one, my classic YouTube channel for more edited content now, and then Diana's channel. And she's doing, even though it's mostly mommy, she's doing an awful lot of cooking stuff, which I do not mind at all because I get to try it every bit, and I love it. So we're doing a live family vlogger hangout that will be happening later tonight. That'll be between probably 30 minutes and an hour long. Not incredibly long, but hopefully you'll be able to spend some time with us. I never really know how long those things are going to be, but I aim for about a half hour to an hour long with the live streams, if only because I know that a lot of people don't watch a lot of the live videos after they're produced or not long after they're produced. So I appreciate you spending some time with me. Hopefully you got a little bit of knowledge and information, or at least some jumping off points for today. That's why I like spending some time with you, covering topics that I find fascinating and interesting. But if I'm missing anything, you got to let me know. If I'm not covering something you might find fascinating, it's because I don't know about it, potentially. You got to let me know. If you don't let me know, how do you expect that I'm going to know? Can't read your mind. Can't time travel. Can't read your mind. 2 things that I cannot do. I can change my shirt. I plan on that happening tomorrow. That's the plan. It's just too comfortable, man. I just can't explain how comfortable the shirt is. It looks awesome, and it's comfortable. That's like, well, it's not exactly 3. Okay, it looks awesome, it's comfortable, and it's geeky. That's the hat trick, man. The hat trick. Not to be confused with my 3-finger salute, my classic 3-finger salute. Did you guys catch that from yesterday? Did you get that? What this is? What this means? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you forgot. I hope you're still paying attention. No matter where you are, where you're from, I appreciate you. I do love you. But at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices.